Hello, welcome to Art and Leisure. Once again, we're here to celebrate those who have made impact or are still making impact in our nation. My name is Chioma Okpara. Our first stopover is at the National Museum, Lagos. People from all walks of life gathered to celebrate General Murtala Muhammed posthumously. He was the head of state for just 6 months, but his achievements were outstanding. Watch this. 13th February 1976 was a day like no other. Nigeria lost her then head of state in a coup d'etat. General Murtala Muhammed was being driven to his office at Dodan Barracks, Lagos, in the early hours of the day. This is where he sat in his official car, a black Mercedes-Benz saloon car. The bullet penetrated deep. The next day, being Saturday, his corpse was flown to his hometown, Kano, where he was buried with full military honors. 7 days national mourning was declared, with flags flying at half-mast throughout the nation as a mark of respect for the departed hero. He was 37 years old. 40 years after his death, people from all walks of life are here to celebrate a man who left footprints in the sands of time. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, was represented by the Director General of the Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization, Mr. Ferdinand Anikwe.
His brief reign as head of the military government witnessed several landmark achievements, the legacy of which we still have with us today. One of these was the creation of 7 additional states on February 3, 1976. His patriotism and love for the nation and her people is certainly unquestionable. It is my fervent opinion that there is nothing that is done to remember this great hero that is too much.
Prince Adeboyega Ariyo, the former Nigerian ambassador to Namibia, delivered a lecture titled The Life and Times of Late General Murtala Muhammed, Any Lesson for Contemporary Nigeria?
During his 2001 days in office, before he was cruelly assassinated, the missing leadership qualities that Nigeria and Nigerians needed to start fulfilling their mission were shown to the world. He gave new dynamism to the pursuit of the essence of governance in the national interest. Fulfillment of the spirit and letter of the social contract between the leader and the led was given new meaning. This transaction to him must be imbued with the honesty, and that is the spirit, that is the lesson, that is the thing that we should learn. Must be imbued with the honesty, truthfulness, patriotism, self-sacrifice, focus, and goal targeting.
This gathering is at the instance of the National Commission for Museums and Monuments.
General Murtala Muhammed ruled Nigeria for only 200 days, ladies and gentlemen. But they were the most action-filled, most dynamic, and probably the most impactful 200 days of the nation's contemporary history. 3 things remain indelible. Number 1 is commitment to good governance. Number 2, robust attempt to root out corruption. Number 3 is fierce battle against indiscipline. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this exhibition is the humble attempt of the National Commission for Museums and Monuments to raise awareness of that glorious era, to celebrate the vanguard of that era, and to promote the ideals for which he died as a repeating epitaph for the gallant and fallen patriot. Indeed, the Commission is proposing that his tomb be made a national monument as a practical reminder of the great contribution of this great man.
The late general introduced some phrases into our lexicon. They are fellow Nigerians and with immediate effect.
He meant for us to be fellow Nigerians, not one tribe or the other. And he also meant with immediate effect, really to be with immediate effect. We talk of soldiers giving up their lives in service of the people, but he was not at the war front. He was not on any special operation. He was on his way to the office. A needless and mindless killing, it would appear. But painful as it was and is, this is one of the ways that we are alive to the fact that another hero has been born.
The Murtala Muhammed Foundation received 3 commemorative postage stamps.
The Nigerian Postal Service in 1977 issued a set of postage stamps to celebrate this great hero we are honoring today. On behalf of the Postmaster General of the Federation, the entire CA of the Nigerian Postal Service, stamp collectors and stamp dealers, because I know so many of you here, you don't have the stamps which we issued as at that time. I call on the General Manager Philately, Mrs. Folake Ladapo, to please make this presentation as a memento and memorabilia of this 40th anniversary, which we are marking today.
2 of the late general's children represented the family.
Personally, on behalf of my family, I'd really like to thank the National Museum and National Commission for Museums and Monuments. At the foundation, we're quite happy to be involved in this project for several reasons. First, because it allows us to celebrate the contributions of the late General Murtala Muhammed to the project of nation building, for which he was very passionate. Secondly, it allows us to highlight once more the very ideals eschewed by the late General and on which the foundation is founded. Finally, it allows us an opportunity to remind once more the younger generation, here represented by the students and the National Youth Corps members amongst us, of the heritage already laid down by heroes past, which ultimately will enable us all to attain the full development and scope of the potential that this country, our great country Nigeria, is capable of attaining.
Thereafter, the representative of the minister led other guests to see the exhibition. Having seen how a good leader is honored even after death, these young Nigerians say they are encouraged to give their best to the nation.
My coming down here today has taught me so many things. One, to know more about my country, like the past history, and to know more about my past hero. Then number 2, it has also taught me to be a better Nigerian, how to act, because there are some attributes he possessed when he was alive that I would like to emulate later in life and to teach my younger ones, especially my children.
I think I would like to be a better Nigerian in the future. I would just like to emulate him, the way he's corruption free. I would like to be like that in the future, so that others too would emulate me.
What I learned today is that laying good examples is a good thing. As Sir Murtala Muhammed has laid a good example and we are remembering him. Also, it encourages me to also do good things so that others will also remember me when maybe I'm past.
I want to be a lawyer and I will be truthful. I will be trustworthy. So that is what I want.
It has really taught me to be more honest, to be a better person, more than what I came, more than the way I came in. I think it's really imparted positively into my in my sense of judgment about every situation I'm confronted with.
Pastor Micah Adams Dandy is the son of the driver that was killed along with General Murtala Muhammed.
He died with the head of state. They all died for the nation. I cannot be part of spoiling the nation, for which they died for. Certainly, that makes me a decent person. I always want to be on top, just doing the right thing.
Late General Murtala Muhammed was a head of state for about 200 days. Posterity remembers him as a great leader. Welcome back. 37 is such a young age to die, but remembering the death after 40 years speaks volume about a young man who was firm, resolute, and goal-oriented. Okay, let's still take a closer look at the life and times of late General Murtala Muhammed. Stay. He was born Murtala Muhammed on the 8th of November 1938 in Kano. He was the second child of his parents. He attended primary and secondary schools in Kano. In 1958, he joined the Nigerian Army as a cadet officer. He attended courses and rose through the ranks. Murtala Muhammed was a general officer commanding the Nigerian Army 2nd Division during the Civil War. His bold and courageous feats earned him national recognition and respect from various groups. After the Civil War, there was tension among the military. Many senior officers were not happy with the slow pace of many aspects of governance. They also felt that the then head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, was unwilling to hand over power to a democratically elected government. This culminated to the coup of 30th July 1975, with Murtala Muhammed emerging as the fourth head of state. He delivered a speech addressed to fellow Nigerians and proposed actions to be taken with immediate effect, thereby making the phrases popular. Shortly after he became the head of state, he was promoted to a full general. Some of his achievements as the head of state are removal of top federal and state officials, both in the public service and the military, for corruption-related offenses, initiation of measures to rid the country of corruption, laziness, idleness, and waste, establishment of anti-inflation task force in order to get rid of inflation that was a threat to the economy. He set up a panel for the creation of more states from 12 to 19. He proposed the movement of the federal capital from Lagos to Abuja. He set up a panel to look into the old constitution and to prepare a new one. He planned a definite process of returning the country to civil rule. Sadly, he was assassinated on the 13th of February 1976 on his way to work. His aide-de-camp, Lieutenant Akintunde Akinsenwa, and his driver, Sergeant Adamu Michika, were also killed. Lieutenant Colonel Bukasuka Dimka carried out the unsuccessful abortive coup. He was arrested and publicly executed on the 15th of May 1976 at the Kirikiri Maximum Prison in Lagos. General Murtala Muhammed left behind a wife, 2 daughters, and 4 sons. His portrait adorns the 20 naira note. Murtala Muhammed International Airport in Lagos and Murtala Muhammed Specialist Hospital in Kano are named in his honor. There are also commemorative postage stamps bearing his portrait. General Murtala Muhammed was a head of state for about 200 days. His achievements in such a short time are still being talked about 40 years after his death. All those achievements in just 6 months, a lesson for us all. Kelani Abass has been making steady progress since he graduated from Yaba College of Technology 9 years ago. He's an award winner. He has had solo shows and also participated in group exhibitions. What we're about to see is Kelani's 4th solo exhibition. Stick around. Aso Igba is a Yoruba word. It means social fabric. That's the title of this solo exhibition. Kelani Abass is an experimental artist who looks for new materials to work with.
Aso Igba is actually inspired by old fabric, damask that I got from home, from my mom's wardrobe. I traveled home to search for archival materials, to look for things that can be useful in my work. Then I saw those beautiful damasks alongside with other materials that currently I'm using to make works, to create some beautiful works.
All kinds of fabric are represented here.
What I try to do in the exhibition is to see the influence that the old fabric has on the new one coming, especially lace. If you look at some of the designs in lace are picked from the design of damask. Then some of our Ankaras, you can see all those designs of intricate designs, especially the paisley that I talked about. If you look at the work again critically, you see the layers, almost 4 layers of history. The damask, the lace, the Ankara, the Guinea, even some of the caps, Ofi, are there too. So it's the layers of history, layers of culture.
He worked mostly from photo references. Family members also modeled for him.
I took a lot of shots from Muhammed, which I used as a photo reference for some of the work, and some of them are live. Like my portraits are live portrait in which I do a study in front of a mirror, and some of them are posed for me by my friends, my wife, my relatives, in which I do the drawings, then transfer them into a painting.
Damask, lace, and Ankara fabrics are not discriminatory. Every class is accommodated.
Different generation, different people, different cultural background, different financial capability and all that. The piece Iyagba shows one of the people that have actually used the fabric from the damask to the new ones we have right now. One of those people that know the history of a fabric. They use it when they were younger, and even at the old age, they still use them. Aso Igba is a boy that is enjoying his new fabric to celebrate a Salah festival. If you look at the boy quite very well, I just got a new Ankara. I was looking at his mom or parent, that's what next after the Aso Igba? Where's the rice? Where's the meat? And he's just ready to eat anything available. He's a vendor, a fabric vendor that shows availability of these wonderful fabrics we can get anywhere apart from going into market. It shows that even in the comfort of your home, you can see people going around with the fabrics. 2 years shows a young lady trying to sew a particular style with 2 yards of a fabric, a particular fabric. And the tailor was actually worried that the fabric might not be enough. And that's, take us to the era of buying other plain fabrics or other fabrics combined to make a dress.
Kelani Abass is an award-winning artist. He employed the pastel medium in the execution of these paintings. His knack for detail cannot go unnoticed.
To talk about what I really want to talk about in this body of work, I have to give attention to detail.
Kelani Abass studied painting at the School of Art, Design and Printing, Yaba College of Technology. He's had 3 solo exhibitions and also participated in many group shows. He showed 21 works in this 4th solo outing.
As much as possible, we try to select artists whose works are perceptive, whose works go beyond the surface to make a statement, whether social, whether economic, whether political. We believe in Kelani's talent, but also in the message that he's passing through the works, because he's put together different people from different parts of society. All the portraits in the works are reflections of people in society, of everyday people.
Kelani Abass loves to keep memories alive. To him, every aspect of life is worth documenting. Nice to have you back. Indeed, Kelani Abass is making a steady climb to the top. Wish him well. Our last report encourages you to get up and get going again. What do I mean by that? Watch this. As their faces are different, so are their life experiences.
Bad things happen to good people, good things happen to bad people. No one is excluded from having a difficult or trial in their lives. And it doesn't matter where you were born. It doesn't matter how you were born. It doesn't matter your upbringing. Those things are not as important as the quality of heart that you have, your character. because that's what really takes you through. You know, you can even have a lot of gifting, but if you are not a person who has character, you won't succeed.
Bounce Back Up, written by Pastor Charles Abraham, is a faith-based book. It has 14 chapters and 102 pages.
It was just reading the Bible, and I saw this story about David and what he encountered at Ziklag. And I saw that there were principles there that would help people to overcome challenges of like failure or bereavement and things like that. So I decided to write.
Bounce Back Up aims at helping people recover from failure.
Pastor Charles, in an affecting and inimitable voice, offers a message that is positive in tone, enthusiastic in affirmations, persuasive in narrative structure, and reader-friendly and memorable in language. But this book succeeds, most importantly, by its definitive scriptural highlight of the key pillars of its premise, using the story of King David's experience at Ziklag as a template of a step-by-step process of turning failure around from a fall to a bounce back, up to a higher dimension. It is simply the most important message for anyone that is hurting or reeling from pain and disappointment or unattained goals and unfulfilled dreams. Bounce Back Up makes clear that failure can happen, but failure does not define you. It is an event, not an identity. Where you are and what has happened to you is not your story. It is merely a chapter in your story.
At this time, when the nation is facing many challenges, Nigerians are optimistic that the country will bounce back up.
The fact that we've reached a point that looks like there's reason for despair is no reason. We have no choice than to bounce back. We have no choice than to look at the principles in this book and see how we can get back to where we need to be. It's about looking inwards, taking stock of where we went wrong, and then just getting back on track.
If you don't feel you're down, you don't get up. People say the nation will reach the brink of recession, you know, and at this point in time, the only way we can go back is up. So really, I think this book is essential at this time in our life, because when you get down, the only way you can go is up, and that's my philosophy.
At some point or the other, we're all going to have some setback. We might be at a personal level, we might be at a professional level. Even at a national level, Nigeria has had several failures, and we're currently going through the process of a rebound. So the book speaks specifically to that subject, and it's not one that you'll find many people teach about or talk about. Everybody talks about how we must, or even when you talk about failure, everybody will go, God forbid. But the reality is that even the Bible tells us that we are going to face trials and tribulations. But the question is, how do you get back from that?
I think bouncing back up may not necessarily be a religious matter. It's a social issue. Because as a child, you need to grow up. As an adult, you need to become a gentleman or to go to middle age. And I think, though I have not read the book, but from the little snippets that I had from the comments by the book reviewer, it touches the family, it touches the business circle, it teaches the governance, it teaches morals, it touches all aspects of life. And I believe that the book will definitely be a resource material for students in advertising and in marketing and in mass communication.
Charles Abraham is a retired captain of industry, a missionary and pastor. Having weathered the storms of life, he simply says, it's not over till you stay down.
That low point you are in, remember that there's something good about to happen to you. That's what I want you to know. The position you find yourself in is because of something that is good that is about to happen to you. If you can see from that point of view and keep going, I will tell you in a few weeks, in a few months, you will have a testimony to share that I was about to kill myself, but look at what has happened to me.
Welcome back. I hope we've inspired you today. Join us sometime next week for another interesting edition. My name is Chioma Okpara. We always encourage you to visit our website so they can watch so many episodes online. Go to www.artandleisure.com.ng. Please always leave a comment afterwards. By God's grace, same time next week, same station, we'll be back. Until then, love yourself, love Nigeria.